From the courts tonight, Bank Lane was on full lockdown today as Stephen Dye Stubbs made another appearance in court, this time for retrial for allegedly murdering Jimmy Ambrose. Officers with automatic weapons secured the area from the rooftops of the courthouse to the perimeter of the Bank Lane court complex as Stubbs appeared before Justice Roy Jones. Ambrose, a police officer, was murdered back in March of 1999. This morning, attorneys for Stubbs and Andrew Davis delivered preliminary arguments. Jury selection is expected tomorrow as the case continues at 10 a.m. A $5 a week rental may seem like a steal for prime real estate rental, but some straw vendors have failed to keep up their payments and now face having their licenses suspended. Today, many of them were barred from entering their stalls as a result, and they're not happy about that at all. Our Janaea Noel Ferguson spoke with them today.
From the day on. Ready? Went to my MP, right? And he said he can't help me.
When vendors arrived at the straw market Monday morning, many of them met this sign barring them entry into their stalls. According to management, it is because of lack of payment of fees, some stretching far back as 25 weeks.
You come in here, right? You'll be here all day. You'll even, sometimes don't even make not $1.
Some rent stone that even make $1. And the bills them fly up.
We don't get the flow of tourists in the back here. Since Hurricane Sandy, I make $200 here. So in the back here, in this section, business is slow.
This was the cry of the many vendors who say they have been unable to pay the $35 a week payment to set up shop in the straw market. But then there were those vendors who believe that the Straw Market Authority have been working with the vendors who have fallen on hard times, giving them more than enough chances to pay. But they say many of the vendors simply refuse to pay anything.
Next month is going to make almost a year. Some of them only paid once or twice, and they haven't came back. Some of them even brag about not paying their rent. You have to pay your rent. This is a new building. They have to keep it up, the maintenance. They have to pay the staff, light bill, water bill, the bathroom and everything. You have to pay your rent in order for them to uphold the new building. They keep telling you, come in, come in, come in. They send letters. They have people walk around, even if you don't want to go upstairs. They have people who walk around, whatever you have. They take your money, they carry it upstairs for you, they come back down, they bring you your receipt.
It's hard for us who pay. It really do pay. I don't pay every week. I pay by the month. But it's hard for some people. Some people really don't make it. Some make it, some don't. But if you make it, pay.
We met a line of vendors waiting to see Straw Market Chairman Ron Pinder. One vendor is promising to make payment before the due date.
Well, they come ahead of time, so they don't close it down.
So whatever you make, you try to get
whatever
something.
I make, I'll try bring it from this week on.
Chairman of the Straw Market Authority, Ron Pinder, says he'll get back to us by this afternoon to give us a full statement of exactly what happened today at the straw market. Janaea Noel Ferguson, ZNS News Network.
Now, we did speak with Ron Pinder, who heads the Straw Market Authority. He says there's one way for those vendors to regain access to their stalls: the payment of at least half of their arrears, an agreement to pay the balance, and to remain current. He told ZNS News the authority is past the point of meetings and long-term payment arrangements with vendors who they say have had meetings and there's been no success. He says the authority even went to the extent of offering credits to vendors who lost merchandise in the fire if they would bring their accounts up to date. According to Pinder, some 225 vendors are in arrears, some of them failing to pay any rental fees since the market opened. A fisherman apparently drowned at the Potterski dock today. The mishap occurred this morning, a tragic end for a young man who spent most of his days in the water. Fern Curie has the story.
Family members of 39-year-old Chris Miller are still trying to come to terms with his death at Potterski Dock this Monday. Officer in charge of the Paradise Island and Potterski Police Station, ASP Mario Johnson, says the father of 8 was diving for conch on the western end of Potterski Dock when he apparently drowned.
At about 9:35 a.m., the police at Potterski Dock Police Station received reports of a dark male floating in waters directly behind me, the western side of Potterski Dock. The body was retrieved by bystanders Eventually, EMS personnel arrived on the scene where they examined the body and found that he was not responsive. Indications at this time seems as if he may have drowned.
Police say there were no signs of foul play and no indication as to how long Miller may have been in the water. As police processed the scene, a small group of onlookers gathered, watching as Miller's body was taken away by the undertaker.
Family members say Chris Miller was no stranger to the sea, as he was a fisherman of over 20 years and a licensed swimmer.
I saw him this morning. I spoke with him. Because every time I pass and he out there, I always, stop by because he don't live with me. And he tell me when I was leaving, I said, no drinking today. He said, Mom, I ain't drinking too much. I said, but I love you. And he gone. That was it. And when I reached from here down by Arwaki, by that time, I saw Goldie pull in and tell me, say, he got sad news for me. I said, boy, stop talking, fool. He said, yeah, Roger just died. I said, what you mean, die? He fall out or what? Say, no, he drowned. That's what he said.
Investigations into the incident continue. For Nkiri, ZNS News Network.
A husband and wife are in hospital tonight in stable condition following a fire at their home early this morning in Garden Hills. The two were taken to hospital where the wife is being treated for smoke inhalation and the husband for injuries to his face and hands. Shortly after 1 o'clock this morning, police were alerted about the blaze at the 7-room, single-story stone structure. The fire was brought under control a short time later. An investigation is ongoing. Housing inspectors employed within the Ministry of Housing had an opportunity to sharpen their skills today at the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute, BTVI. Housing Minister Kenra Dorset says it's all in an effort to improve the quality of work which comes out of the ministry and decrease repair work, which sometimes runs into the millions of dollars. Meantime, he says more must be done to put a stop to shoddy work.
We are the ones who are responsible, but we need to make sure that there is a level of accountability straight across the board, so that if there is a contractor who does shoddy work, that the provisions of the contract are strictly enforced. There have to be consequences for contractors who do not provide quality workmanship. And so, for example, I've seen instances where contractors who have provided shoddy work continue to get contracts. That clearly ought not to be the case. Those who build and build well should be the ones who are given the opportunity to continue to get more work from my ministry.
Mr. Dorset added that the ministry is expecting more housing inspectors as it continues to upgrade homes.
But we also hope to partner with BTVI to ensure that even our approved builders in the fullness of time will be required to ensure that they always remain on the cutting edge of technology. When one also considers that as a result of the fused Ministry of Environment and Housing, we are now going to be looking into the introduction of solar water heaters in the fullness of time, photovoltaic systems being installed in our homes. We also want to make sure that our plumbers, electricians, and contractors are trained and understand how to install solar technology in these homes. And so we are going to be requiring a little more of those who are approved to build under the Ministry of Housing.